Welcome to the video for lesson 6, which is going to introduce us to the double number line diagram. And this is something that we will use quite a bit in the rest of this unit, also in unit 3. And it's just a really good strategy going forward. What we're going to do with double number lines is we're going to see how they represent equivalent ratios and help us finding equivalent ratios. So just to warm up, we've got 4 number talk problems. If you want to pause the video, go ahead and try and solve those mentally and write down your strategy of how you solved it. Then when you're ready, you can come back to the video and hit play and we will go over the answers. Okay, you should have hit pause and come back to the video now. For the first one, we have 4.5 times 4. Well, the answer to this one is 18, and I might think of it as 4 times 4 equals 16, and 4 times a half, or 0.5, is equal to 2, and 16 plus 2 is equal to 18. Okay, 4.5 times 8. This one is going to be 36, and I know that because I increased 4 times 2, which would increase my answer times 2. 1/10 times 65. Remember, any time that we are multiplying by a power of 10, in this case it's a fraction, we are going to move our decimal once to the left. So since it's 10, we're going to move it once to the left, so our answer would be 6.5. We know we move it to the left because it's multiplying by a number that is smaller than 1. 1/10 is smaller than 1, so we move it to the left. If it were something bigger than 1, like 10, then we would move it to the right. And here we have 2/10 times 65. Well, if 1/10 is 6.5, then 2/10 would be equal to 13. I know that because we took this factor times 2, and so we're going to take our answer times 2. Okay, let's get into the double number lines. Take a look about what they look like and see how we're going to use them. Okay, so we have a drink mix on a double number line diagram. It says that we made a drink mixture containing 4 teaspoons of powdered mix. So that would be our 4 squirts of Mio for 1 cup of water. Okay, so here's our water in the blue and our drink mix is in the white boxes. With our double number lines, you see that we have 2 of them. Each one of them is labeled. This is really important. If you do not label your double number lines, you won't know which one stands for what, and you could get your numbers backwards. And then we have them numbered. As you can see, going across our number lines, this would be for one batch. So we might think of the batches up here. So one batch has 4 and 1, 2 batches, 3 batches, 4 batches, 5 batches, and we could keep going on further if necessary. If you notice, 4 and 1 are multiplied by 1. If we multiply by 2, we get 8 and 2. If we multiplied our one batch by 3, we would get 12 and 3, etc. You can also see that going across on the top, we're counting by 4s, so plus 4, plus 4, plus 4, plus 4, etc. And on the bottom, we are counting by 1s. Those are just a couple different ways you could go about numbering your double number line. I like to do it by number of batches and how much ingredients would then be in my batch, but you can do it with the addition way as well. So our first question asks us to fill in our empty spot. So what would come next in our number line if we continued our pattern? 4 times 5 would be 20, and in 5 batches we would have 5 cups of water. I'm going to see if I can keep that on the screen here for our next couple of questions. So we have our double number line. In question 1, if I can get these both on here, it says, how can we tell that 4 to 1 and 12 to 3 are equivalent ratios? Okay, there's a couple ways by looking at the double number line we could see that. We know that they are equivalent ratios because they both line up vertically on the double number line. Okay, that means they are straight up and down. We don't have anything that are going crooked like 4 and 2. None of our circles are slanted. And we could also prove it by using our other strategy that we learned earlier in the week. This one would be times 3, so our other ingredient is times 3. Since we're multiplying both by 3, they are equivalent. Okay, we could think of how are these representations the same and how are they different. So for our double number line and our visual diagram is what they're wondering. How are they the same or different? So if we have the visual and the double number line, they're the same in that they both show different number of batches. A difference might be, oh my, you couldn't even see that. Okay, same as that. They both show the different number of batches. They might be different in that the double number line is a little bit easier to follow because we just have numbers to look at, where up here we would have to go through and count on our visual diagram. So I'm going to put the double number line may be more efficient. Now, it does not matter to me which strategy you use, if you want to use the visual or the double number line. It's really whatever works best for you. I'm just trying to show you as many strategies as I can, and you pick the one that works best for you. Okay, question 3. Let's see if we can get that back on here. How many teaspoons of drink mix should be used with 3 cups of water? So on our number line, if we find 3 cups of water right here, we would also need to use 12 teaspoons of drink mix. We know that because they line up vertically on the double number line. Wow, drink. I cannot spell, you guys. Drink mix. Okay, and number 4, how many cups of water should be used with 16 teaspoons of mix? So if we find 16 on our drink mix, this is why labeling your double number line is so important. It matches up with 4, so we would need 4 cups of water. That is if we want our batch to taste the same. Okay, and what numbers should go in the empty boxes of the double number line diagram? And we actually already found that. It would be for the drink mix, 20, and for the water, it would be 5, and that represents the 5th batch and how much ingredients we would put inside each of those batches. Alrighty. We're going to skip the Are You Ready for More section, so you can cross that off. And we're going to move on to another double number line diagram. So here we are, and it represents Elena's recipe for light blue paint. So she was making her own light blue paint. She had white and blue, and she was mixing them together. So the first one says complete the double number line diagram. Okay, the first really important part is to label it. So we have white paint, and that is going to be in cups. And blue paint is our second ingredient, tablespoons. And if we happen to have 3 ingredients, we could have a triple number line. But we'll just do double number line for now. Okay, so first we have 0. If we have 1 batch, it would look like, so I'm going to put up here, batches. 1 batch would have 2 cups of white and 6 blue. 2 batches would have 4 and 12. 3 batches, maybe I'll put a line here so that we can tell the difference, would have 6 white, 18 blue. 4 batches would have 8 white and 24 blue. 5 batches would be 10 white, 30 blue. And 6 batches would be 12 white and 36 blue. So we completed our double number line. Go ahead and compare yours to mine and see if there's anything the same or different that you'd like to change. Question 3 says, how many cups of white paint should Elena mix with 12 tablespoons of blue paint? So if we find blue paint and go with 12, that would mean that we need 4 cups of white, and that would make 2 batches. So when we're finding our equivalent ratio, we want to make sure that we circle straight up and down. How many tablespoons of blue paint would we mix with 6 cups of white? So if we have 6 cups of white, right here, it looks like we would need 18 tablespoons of blue. And that would be 3 batches. Okay, and for number 5, you're going to use your double number line to find any other amount of white and blue paint that would make the same shade. So we want it to be the exact same shade. We don't want it to be any darker or any lighter, so that means it must be an equivalent ratio. I am going to say 14 cups white to 42 tablespoons of blue. And how do I know that these are ratios? Well, if I start with my original and I multiplied each ingredient by 7, that would get me to my new ratio of 14 to 2. So that would be making 7 batches of light blue paint. All right, let's go through the summary today. So what did we learn? We learned that you can use a double number line to find equivalent ratios. That is the most important part for today. Today you did not have to make very many double number lines on your own. That's what we'll be doing on Monday. So we learned how to use a double number line to find equivalent ratios. We multiply both ingredients by the same number to create equivalent ratios. And we know that they are equivalent because they are going vertical, straight up and down. We don't have anything going slanted or diagonal. Okay. In this example, we know that these are equivalent because they're both going straight up and down. Okay. Go ahead and show these notes to the sub, and they will get you your homework problems for tonight. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. If you have questions, email me. Otherwise, I will be back on Monday.